Again, welcome to the National Child Care Association's webinar series. By being involved in this platform, you are authorizing permission for this to be videotaped and uploaded to our website. Additionally, we ask that no production or use of this video may be made without prior written consent by NCCA. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our director, Cindy Lenhoff.
Hello, everyone. Hello to all of our essential owners, directors, and educators of young children that are on our webinar today. I heard somebody say earlier this week when I was watching a hearing, a congressional hearing on video about early childhood education and what's needed for our industry. I heard someone say, childcare is the reason everyone else gets to go to work. And so if you think you are not a valuable resource, think again. I think that innately we know we are, but it's kind of nice that we're starting to hear that from our legislators. So I would encourage you to read the information that we email you about what's happening in Washington and how you can contribute to the conversation. Because if our legislators don't hear from enough people, they're going to think we're disinterested. And I know that's not true. And right now, the federal government is getting ready to release $10 billion additional dollars in the Child Care Block Grant. It should be released sometime in mid-March. So that means each state in the union, and also I think some of our territories, will receive millions of dollars to help childcare through COVID. At this point, the best thing you can do is find out how your lead agency, whether it be child care licensing or DCF or DHS or DOE, you know who you're licensed by. Find out how they plan to spend this money, because knowing how they're going to spend it gives you the opportunity to say, yay, when can I expect it? How do I get it? And it also, if they haven't figured it out, which they were supposed to have had a plan within 60 days of the bill passing to the feds, I would inquire as to why they haven't, because that deadline is actually coming up. It's the 27th of February. So again, please speak up for yourself. And we're probably looking at another $40 billion, which is an amazing amount of money for childcare. But be thinking about what you need and watch our emails as they come forth, because we're going to actually, formulate what it is that we know you need, because we've talked to enough of you. I've been an operator. And if you agree, let us know. If you disagree and want something else, let us know, so that we're advocating for you in the right direction. So in the meantime, I'm going to turn this over to Alyssa, who has, not only is she the person in charge of the Go2 program that is free and makes communication through the use of technology to your parents much, much easier than trying to have to stand at your door and tell them everything, or emailing them one at a time. And it's a free service, so how timely is that we get something for free? Alyssa is also the parent of children that attend childcare. So she looks at this from two different important perspectives. So Alyssa, it's all yours.
Thanks, Cindy. Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Theodore, and yes, I work for Go2s, but I'm going to approach this webinar from two perspectives. One, as a little bit of a story, and two, some nuts and bolts, and hopefully we'll get our hands dirty and look into exactly how Go2s works. The story side is that yes, I am a parent. I have 2 boys. They have attended Educare Learning Center in Jefferson, Maryland, for years now, multiple years of preschool, and they are now school agers. And when I began working with Go2s, and Go2s is a free app that is designed to provide private group communication. One of the first groups I thought of was the families, the parents and staff at my son's center. So I approached them actually in 2018. So it's been going on, a little over 2 years now that they've been using Go2s. So it was actually a pre-pandemic decision, but thank goodness. In other words, thank goodness it was in place, because as Cindy alluded, my interaction with the staff begins and ends at the sidewalk. It's curbside drop off and pick up now. So the fact that they have something in place to communicate with us digitally has been tremendously helpful and comforting, because I still feel connected both to the community that we've developed and also, to what's going on day to day in their classroom. And so I put on our first slide here a little survey just as a thought exercise, asking some basic questions about what you're currently using to communicate with your families. And I'm switching my screen over, and hopefully we've had some responses. Does anyone? Give it a try. It's 3 questions and super easy. But here's the cheat sheet answer. If you guys feel that you are currently completely satisfied with your level of communication with your families, that you have the kind of two-way engagement that you're looking to build, and that's so important to a really productive childcare community, I can give you 45 minutes back of your time. There are a lot of ways to approach family communication. Go2s is just one of them. And so if you're happy, you're happy. But if you feel you have room for growth, maybe Go2s can be that solution for you. And I will share now. Take a quick look. I'm going to go back, and there we go. So these are the next group of slides show you in real life how Educare is using Go2s and some of its different features. So one of Go2s features is that you can click a button and your post that you make will be sent out via text to the account holding members of your group. And that's been fantastic during this winter season when inclement weather causes changes, and I get a text. I don't even have to unlock my phone in the morning at 7 a.m. when I'm looking at it to see what's going on with their schedule. And if you see actually in the notes section, their voicemail that day, they had a problem and they couldn't change the voicemail. So they were relying really heavily on Go2s to get that message out. Groups on Go2s have a library section that can accommodate documents as well as image and video files. I mean, everyone's pretty used to uploading images to things, but you can work with documents in Go2s both in your library and as attachments to your posts. And you can see that Kim loves her library. That's the director of Educare. And she puts in the monthly calendars, the newsletters, the snack schedule, the registration packet for the next year, because it's that time of year. And it's not to say that paper is dead. It's not by any stretch. And I think we all know that that's not ever going to happen. But if I lose something, I can open it up and look at it on my screen or print my own copy. There is direct messaging in Go2s, and I will show you how to access that and how parents can access that to send a quick message. And this is actually a conversation between myself and my youngest son's teacher in his room, especially with virtual schooling going on. And Maryland, my state, was all virtual for a while, till just recently. If there were tech troubles, you know, you had to have a way to get to the parents quickly so the parents could get to the teacher quickly, or if there was a change from the teacher's schedule, that I could communicate it quickly with his teacher at Educare. There is a section, what we call callouts. Basically, in a lot of other free services, what is actually paying for your service is advertising, and you will not see unsolicited advertising on Go2s. And what we use that space for instead are things like these callouts, where you can put the important material that you really need to draw parents' attentions to. So handbooks, you know, things in your community, Kim's sharing from the State Department of Education. She's got her Scholastic form. And the first month she put the Scholastic form on Go2s, I know I made my first online order and they had their best Scholastic year, Scholastic order, I think, in history. It was just so easy to click the link, go right to that website where the code's preloaded, and you know, every little bit brings books to the facility. If you take advantage of Go2's calendar feature, there's a sign up feature, and you will get reminders for things you sign up for. It can be really great for things like bringing items in for classroom parties or conference slots. You know, it's simple but flexible. They have many groups. The way that they've chosen to structure their Go2s groups is to have one for the center as a whole, one for each classroom. And because they have a family association, they have a family association group. She's used her callouts here to put the link for the Google Meet, where we now virtually, you know, instead we used to all sit around a little table and have our family association meetings, but now it's virtual. And we use the timeline she shares information. We take polls sometimes is the best way to decide on an activity, or something like Teacher Appreciation Week, you know, what we're going to do. We have our own little group for our EFA. So just because of COVID, I haven't been cut off from participating in our family parent group. And Go2s, because Go2s is two-way and parents can comment on posts, and that has been really great for crowd sharing information. As you know, again, it's been a really chaotic year, and the situations with virtual schooling are constantly changing, situations with what's open, what's closed, what's going on. So, you know, this is an actual exchange between when I didn't understand what was going on when the school was going to do asynchronous learning days, and I couldn't figure it out from the county website, the school district website. You know, I threw it out, and another parent, a couple parents actually responded back with more information that they had. So it's been really nice to be able to have a way to get in touch with my fellow parent community. And the last but definitely not least, those posts with the photos. Go2s has both attachments and an album capability that let me know what they did that day but I will never cross the threshold, at least, you know, not for the time being, but, you know, I still know what's going on in their classroom. For example, when we have snow and they get to have a little snow day during their recess time. So before I started this, I think Cindy and Diane shared a flyer that invited everyone to create a Go2s account. Just if you want to work along with me as we do things, you know, shake things up a little. I know we watch a lot of screens, so if you'd actually like to do this hands-on, in case you didn't see the flyer, I put a couple slides in for how to sign up for a Go2s account, both from the web, on the web browser, and using a mobile phone where you would download the app. So Go2s is both a web and a mobile app. And what you can do on one, you can do on the other. So it does look a little different. And if you have any questions, if you're working along, but you decide to do mobile, and while I'm displaying on the web today, on the web app version, just ask in the chat. And I can point you in the right direction to find what I'm doing on the mobile version. Does that make sense? All right. Ooh. All right, at this point, I am going to switch out of slides and go to the web app of Go2s. There it is. So I'm going to need some feedback from somebody. Cindy, can everybody see my screen? Because if you can't, this isn't going to be very helpful.
I can see your screen.
Perfect. Okay. So the white background with the turquoise bar across the top, that's the Go2s web app. And I'm going to take you through a few different of the most commonly requested activities, starting with creating a group and then working with a few of the most popular features. So to create a group, you'll want to navigate to the group tab. And at the very top, you'll see a blue box that says create new group. And Go2s has lots of features and questions, and I'm going to show you where to find those and how to tailor your group and customize it to exactly the settings you want. But to get started, it's actually three simple fields to fill in. So I'm going to use my demo group. I have a whole demo universe, is Bright Beginnings. That's my imaginary childcare center. And since my son's center names their classrooms after birds, I'm going to call it the Wrens in honor of my son's centers. I have one starling and one heron. Okay, you're going to next choose a group type. And best practice on this, I recommend schools, clubs, teams. Okay, why I think that's best practice? Private is super private. It's an undiscoverable group. And what undiscoverable means is that even if you search the Go2s network for that group name, it won't show it. It's that private. A schools, clubs, teams group is set up to be discoverable, but to still require permission before anyone is allowed to join, administrator permission. So that's why I recommend that one for this type of environment, because you have parents who take the initiative. If they're tech savvy, they'll download the app, and before you even can blink, they'll search. And if they don't find a group, they'll get confused. And then last, a tag. And you can do, there we go, or a variety of things. Bare minimum, that's everything you need to create a group on Go2s. And so I'll click save. And there you have it. Now this window is going to open automatically because it assumes that once you have a group, you're going to want to invite some members. And I we'll get back to that. You can close this at any point, but I'll show you how to reopen it because I want to show you a couple things first. I want to show you on the web app, it's this left-hand bar here. On the mobile app, you access this menu. There's a little lowercase I in the upper right-hand corner of your phone, of your screen, that will open this menu. And there are a few important areas to know about. One is your contact information, which I showed you the quick and dirty way to create a group, but at any point you can open that arrow and edit it and add things to it. You can add a description, you can add your contact information, your center's website, your general email. And my personal favorite, I highly recommend this as a best practice, change the photo of the avatar. And you do that just by clicking on it, and you can take a picture with your camera, or you can choose a file from your computer, which is what I'm going to do. And let's see, I am going to, where did I put it? There we are, somewhere in here. There it is. There's my little wren. And you can, I need to make that a little bigger and click apply. There we go. That just really helps people feel comfortable that they found the right group. Any changes you make every time, click next. It's going to open up your group policy. Okay, when you click next, this is your group policy. And this is those questions, those many questions I mentioned earlier that allow you to really customize the level of access to your group and determine who can do what on your group among staff and parents, for example. So I want to scroll down to this section in particular. These are all the different sorts of Go2s features. And there's this drop-down box next to all of them that always have the same 4 choices. Top level admin, moderator, everybody, or if a feature is not useful to you, you can essentially turn it off by choosing nobody. So if you only want moderator and higher, for example, among your staff to be able to post, you can decide that. Or if you only want admins to be able to put things in your libraries and albums. I just wanted to point this section out because it's important to know that you have, when you're ready, you have more choices that you can make. Another good thing to know is if you choose to do something like let everybody post, you can still turn on a moderated feed, and it won't let any posts go public until the administrator has approved it. So, we know it's important for you to have control over the information, the flow of information that's coming and going. And this is the area where you're going to make the choices that are right for you and your group. Do you want everyone in your group do you want them to see the list of members? Yes or no? Some centers are very keen on that. Educare is one of them. They like us to know, especially at the classroom level, who our other parents are. And I have used that list to reach out to make play dates. But if you want to be more privacy oriented, you can shut that off. And just remember to save your changes. So always that group policy is always here, and your contact information is always editable here. All right, another couple of best practices, and this has to do with inviting people to join your group. When I click on that contact information and edit, add a unique name, okay? Which can be exactly the same as your group name or a little different. And as long as it hasn't been taken by someone else in the system, it's yours. And the reason why you'll want to do that, next, and save again, is because it gives you a very nice personalized group link. Okay, if you don't have a unique name, what you'd see there is go2s.com/group/gobbledygook of 42 letters and numbers. So this gives you a nice group link. And when it comes to inviting people to join your group, I recommend going about it 2 ways. One, use the system that Go2s has built in, but 2, because, as you know, with any new email from a previously unknown source coming through, it might end up caught in the spam filter. So you've already probably been communicating with your families using your own email lists, whatever program that is. Let them know that you have created this group, that you're asking them to join via that existing email list first, using that group link that they can then click, and it will walk them through the joining process, as well as using the Go2s email invite system. Why both? Like I said, one is for the spam filter, but you don't want to forego the Go2s email invitation system for one major awesome reason, and that is because this is how we reopen that invite screen that automatically popped up when we created our group. And you'll see the default is the email list. You can change it around how you're going to invite people, but email is default for a reason. And that is because when you can upload a CSV file, you can copy and paste in here. You don't have to type them one at a time the way I am, but you know, for demo purposes. And I am going to invite that's a colleague of mine. She knows. So you would click validate. Just make sure you have a complete email address there. You're going to click this send invitations, and it gives you a space to write a personalized message. Otherwise, it'll send a default, you know, but and send that mail. Now, so that email just went out via the Go2s email system. It's called mailjet. And when it does that, it adds those email addresses automatically to your group mailing list. Okay, so that clicking that little thing there opened up my group members. There's also a link on this menu here called Manage Members that does the same thing. And there they are. That's everybody I just invited to this group. And why that's great is that from this moment forward, anything I post in this group, an email copy is going to get sent to those addresses. An email copy that is actually interactive. This is one thing I don't have open, but I will, because I keep a folder of these so everyone can see what they look like. Here we are. Okay. So this is it. The 2 will be always your group name. It's going to be a complete copy of the post. Links will be live. And you have this button here that will allow them to view. It will open up each post individually, and the comments are live. They can actually respond back and engage without a Go2s account. So you don't have to wait for everyone to get signed up, get on board before you start using Go2s to communicate with them, because you're never going to get 100% participation in anything. You know, it's just not going to happen. So this gives you the flexibility of using the one app to reach them both in the app through the posting on the timeline, but through email at the same time, sort of instantaneously. And once if they do choose to sign up, create an account. And if they create an account using that same email, the system recognizes it, takes them off the mailing list, and they just become, you know, one of these active members. And one thing, so that's why I highly recommend, as best practice, when you're getting going, invite them using your existing email system, because it's familiar, it won't get caught in spam filter, but to create your mailing list, do the Go2 system as well, and then you'll save yourself the work of having to go, okay, who's in the app, who's still, I'd need to send a different, you know, I have to keep an email list for those people. I am going to now, because of my colleague again, let's see, I'm going to also invite her that way. And that will allow me to show you in a moment, when you have members, how you will help manage them. So best practice when getting started is usually to begin with staff. So whoever creates the group invites in staff, and Ella Hay accepted my invitation, and she is now an active, well, should be showing up as an active member. And you will want to then promote your staff to whatever position you want them to have, you know, whether some are admins, some are moderators, everybody's a moderator, or you just want to keep them as regular members. But it's showing me, it's telling me two, but showing me one. All right. Well, eventually LA will show up. Let's give that a refresh and see if that takes care of it. There she is. Just needed a refresh. So people come and go in your program. So whether a staff member has moved on or a family's gone off to kindergarten, you have control over whether they're a member of the group or not. And that's all in this little snowman menu right here. It allows you to remove them from the group or promote them. That's what you would do with staff. And that, to determine according to the plan you set up for who would have what privileges. So, and same with a mailing list, that's just, you can't promote from there. They're just, that's just an email copy, but you can take them out at any time when they've moved on. So that's how you manage your members. All right, how to actually start posting and take advantage of that fabulous.
Alyssa?
Yeah.
This is Cindy. I hate to interrupt you. You have such great information.
Yeah.
But we only have a few minutes left.
Okay.
And we have a couple of questions.
Sure.
And I want to make sure we get those answered. And then we can use the time to finish.
Yep.
One of the questions is...
I'm glad to hear from people. I hate talking just myself.
I know. And that's kind of, what makes, this kind of interaction sometimes not comfortable. And I want other people to feel comfortable.
You're like, are they unconscious or are we good here?
One of the things that, is being asked is, can anyone wanting some help on one-on-one help with setting this up contact someone at Go2s for this?
That's me. Absolutely.
Okay. And are you going to give out that information?
My contact information is on the final slide of the slide presentation. And do you send copies of the presentation?
I don't know that we send copies, but we could.
We add it. Yep, we add it to the website, so it'll be up on the website.
Good.
But I will also follow up afterwards to make sure that everyone who registered has my contact information as well.
Great, because one of the things that I think about, with apps of this nature,
Mhm.
is that I know at my age, I'd have to have somebody really walk me through it. And quite honestly, just as a recommendation to anybody listening, because I don't know the age group that's on, but if you are, an older owner and you want to be able to do some of the things on this that Go2s offers with your parents and your staff, I would say get someone younger that's on staff that can just fly through this, because what I find about most apps is once they're set up for me, I can use them.
Mhm.
And so that's just a recommendation. I also think that our young parents today would really, really like this because they don't like paper, and and right now, they are on their phones a lot. So that leads me to another question that came up
Okay.
is I know that our young parents of today are very tech savvy.
Very text
And
oriented.
they use their phones for everything. So is this a phone-friendly app?
Yes, yes. Let me repeat that. Go2s is both a web app and a mobile app. So you can access it either way. Most parents do, as you correctly noted, put the app on their mobile phones and use it there. But if in the classroom setting, if as a director or a teacher, you have a variety, you may have phones for your rooms, you may not, you may have tablets, you may have a desktop, you know what I mean? So you can access it still to do updates on the web, on laptops, desktops, tablets, but there's a mobile app absolutely as well.
Well, and one of the comments is that this does for free with what a lot of programs like this charge for. So wow.
Oh, that's great.
And I know as a grandparent in my, most recent years, and my my grandchildren going to a center that does have an app that, costs money, is that getting pictures of them, doing some activities throughout the day is huge if you're not able to do that easily. And now during COVID, I know that the center, one of the centers that I consult with, they use a program that they do pay for, but it also goes with their POS system.
Mhm.
But the parents here get pictures of what their children are doing all of the time. So again, and the teachers here have learned to use that app with very, very little training. So just wanted to make sure we got those comments and questions in.
Perfect.
So we
It's
got
all
about
about the pictures. It really is. That's what warms my heart, when they come through. And that's actually the next thing, was to show you how to do a basic post. I have, this is my cheat sheet, everyone, so I can grab. You don't have to watch me painfully type everything really slowly. So again, this would be a classroom update. It could be, but this is a weather, and that text message I showed you at the very beginning, that slide, this is how she got it. That's it. Check that box. And as Cindy, you were just saying, some younger parents are just so text oriented that I have programs that, they're not posting all the time, so it's not intrusive. They might post once a day, everything, they just make it urgent because, it's their child, it's someone's child, it's their day, and it's going to their phone, and that's how they pay attention to it. And you can do that if that works best for you. And here's how you would add in your attachments. So I mentioned earlier that Go2s has an album and a library section for each group. Things you put there, you can share with your posts, but you can also access your files on your device, whether it's your phone or whatever you took the picture with, you would do that there. And that is how you make an urgent post with text notification. That's how you get an attachment on there. Again, those attachments can be pictures, videos, and documents, PDFs, Word documents. There's no limitation on file type, as I understand it, and there's no character limitation for your message. So go to it. And I'm going. Okay.
Well, I think we have learned enough to even be more than curious to give you a call and or an email, those participating. So if you want to give that information out, that would be helpful. We'll send the presentation, but we want to stick to our time frame of 1:45 because we know that our providers have probably given up their lunch hour for this. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us, and the screen is up. And Alyssa is wonderful to talk to and very helpful, and I would really encourage you to think about using this. It's if you don't have something similar, it'll make your life easier once you understand, you know, how to use it, and also your parents will love it.
I know I do.
Does anybody else have any questions? We're going to shoot her information to everybody so that you can just cut and paste that into your contacts right now. If you are looking for any questions to be answered at this time, feel free to unmute yourself and ask Alyssa.
Please do. I know it seems it's a lot of information.
Well, with that, then we thank you very much, Alyssa, for giving us that overview. And then everyone, please continue to look back at the National Child Care's website, which is nationalchildcare.org. Under our webinars tab, you will see previous webinars with the corresponding videos and paperwork, the slide, the presentation that went along with it. So you can get that from there for this and previous ones. And you can also sign up for future webinars that are coming up. Cindy, anything else that you wanted to say as we pop off?
No, just thanks to Alyssa for being our presenter and introducing something, you know, very cool to our members. And thanks to all of our members for taking the time to do this. And we have another webinar coming up March 9th. And it's, you'll be getting some additional information about that at the end of this week. And also, I want to give you my new email address, because what I would love to do is get info from some of you about what you'd like for us to be, you know, talking about. And the email address is ncca@necpa.net. And if you've missed some of our other webinars or emails and want to know more about us, go to our brand new website, nationalchildcare.org.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.